Okay, let us discuss the next concept now. Ionization enthalpy. What happens there? In ionization enthalpy, how much energy is required to remove outermost electron matters. And there again, shielding effect also matters there. Hope it is clear. Okay. Next property is electron gain enthalpy. What does it tell you? Electron gain enthalpy. It is also denoted as delta H of Eg. That means enthalpy is usually denoted as capital H. So change in enthalpy, Eg means electron gain. So electron gain enthalpy. Enthalpy, I have told you, something related to energy, usually heat changes we say. Here, gaining of electron, you see electron gain enthalpy. The energy required to convert, or when an electron is added to a neutral gaseous atom, what happens if you add an electron to gaseous neutral atom? It becomes negatively charged ion, isn't it? When it becomes negatively charged ion, then it has some energy changes taking place. That energy change that is accompanied when an electron is added to a neutral gaseous atom to form an anion is called electron gain enthalpy. Okay, let me explain you now. Say you have an atom, any atom, electron is added to it. I'll give you the definition, okay, after explaining this. Electron is added to it. What happens now? Now what happens? This X has gained one electron. That means it has gained one negative charge. Earlier all the charges were balanced, but now one extra charge has been added, electron. So we denote that extra charge this way. Now you understand why I have written electron on the left hand side, that means on the reactant side, because electron has been added. And what is formed? Anion has been formed. Anion has been formed. So during this process, there is some enthalpy change taking place. Delta means change. H means enthalpy, change in enthalpy that takes place. So that change in enthalpy when an electron is added to gaseous neutral atom to form an anion is called electron gain enthalpy. Hope I'm making it clear to you of what is electron gain enthalpy. What is it? When one electron is added to a neutral atom, neutral means all the positive charges balanced by negative charge, then to form anion, during this process, the enthalpy change that is accompanied is called as electron gain enthalpy. So let us write the definition of it. The enthalpy change when an electron is added to a gaseous neutral atom and converts into an anion is called electron gain enthalpy. Write it in full form. The enthalpy change when an electron is added to gaseous neutral atom and converts it into an anion. It means converts atom into an anion. It's like this. It is neutral. Now one electron has been added to it, because of which one charge becomes extra. It gains one negative charge. Now you call it as anion, isn't it? So during this process, the enthalpy change is called as electron gain enthalpy. So this electron gain enthalpy, it can be, that means during this process, during the gaining of electron, heat can be liberated. That means delta H value can be minus, or it might be plus also. You know this, isn't it? If you do not know, delta H, we say it is positive if it is an endothermic process. Endothermic process. We say delta H is negative if it is an exothermic process. Let me make it clear of what is endothermic and exothermic process. Endothermic means heat is absorbed. The system will be absorbing heat. That means if it has to get converted into anion, it will be pulling the heat from outside and it gets converted into anion. Exothermic process means it is liberating heat. It is giving out heat and getting converted into anion. So it depends whether the process is endothermic or exothermic, depends on the elements. So depending on the elements, electron gain, this is one more point you will write, electron gain enthalpy can be either exothermic or endothermic, depending on what? Depending on the elements. For example, it depends on what? It depends on elements. Example is, you know about group 17 elements, isn't it? Which are group 17 elements? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. All those are group 17 elements. Group 17 elements. Example, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, all these. These group 17 elements, their electron gain enthalpy will be highly negative. That means exothermic process, because they usually, I had told you about chlorine, you remember? Chlorine, the outer shell configuration is 3s2 3p5, whereas the next one is chlorine is 17, argon is 18. Argon is a noble gas. It wants to become like noble gas. It wants to be stable. So how it can be stable? It will pull one electron and it will be stable. Okay. If it has to pull electron, here see p orbital 1 2 3 4. Here p orbital will be 3, isn't it? 3 subshells will be having orbitals. Here electrons, already it has 1 2 3 4 5. Only one electron remaining to become stable. If it is completely filled, it becomes stable. So it wants to gain electron. So it happily gains electron. So it gives out the extra energy. You understand? So electron gain enthalpy for group 17 elements will be highly negative. Whereas, which are group 18 elements? Group 18 elements are noble gases. Group 17 elements are also called as halogens. Group 18 elements are also called as noble gases. So in noble gases, like say helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, etc., in these, electron gain enthalpy will be highly positive. Why highly positive? It is already stable, so it doesn't want to gain extra electron. So if suppose you forcefully want to add electron also, the electron gain enthalpy will be highly positive. That means it needs heat from outside to gain electron. Got the point? So that's about electron gain enthalpy. The very important part is the definition here. You need to go through the definition and then you will know about it in a better way. Now, how electron gain enthalpy increases across the period and down the group? That's the point. Across the period, down the group. I had told you, across the period what happens to the size? Size goes on decreasing. Down the group, size goes on increasing. Now, across the period, you imagine. Now, at nucleus, electrons revolving. You want to add an electron. According to electron gain enthalpy, it has to gain electron, isn't it? If it has to gain electron, you imagine, now I will consider two atoms. This is one atom and this is one more atom, okay? Here you see the size is small. Here the size is large. Nucleus is positively charged. You want to add one electron. Whether it is easy to add electron to smaller one or it is easy to add electron to the larger one. You decide. What you have to think of atomic radii. Atomic radius you imagine or atomic size you imagine. Then tell me whether it is easy to add electron or not. See, here nucleus is highly positive. Nucleus is close to the outermost shell, isn't it? If the size is small, that means nucleus is close to the outermost shell. If the nucleus is close to outermost shell, what happens? It is just like I say that when your friend comes to your house, how your mother welcomes. So if your mother is very affectionate, and your friend feels like, okay, I'll just come inside the house because they are treating me in a very well manner. So they will feel like coming in, isn't it? Because they are very close, very affectionate. The electron will feel the pull of the nucleus. But whereas if the nucleus is very far from the outermost shell, so incoming electrons, will it feel the nuclear pull much? It feels the nuclear pull very less, isn't it? Very less nuclear pull will be experienced. So what happens? The electron will not feel like coming in. Are you getting the point? The electron getting added, it has to rotate in the orbit. Yeah, it has to revolve in the orbit. If it has to revolve in the orbit, it should feel the this nuclear pull. Otherwise, simply will it come and add? No. So, if the size is smaller, it is easy for the electron to come in. So, electron gain enthalpy will be more if the size is smaller. Whereas electron gain enthalpy will be less if the size is larger, because the electron will not feel it. It will not feel the nuclear pull. Here I have just written extra shells and I have shown you, but just imagine, practically what happens is, if the electron has to come, the nucleus has to hold it, isn't it? Otherwise the electron will just move away. Why? The reason is because, see, other electrons are also present along with that. What do? They will try to push them out. They are not happy with it. I have told you, electrons and electrons, they repel. Whereas electron and nucleus will attract. Positive and negative will attract. Negative will push each other. That is why if the nucleus is closer to the outermost shell, then you can experience, it can experience more electron gain enthalpy, otherwise less electron gain enthalpy. Now apply this to the periodic trend that we have studied, atomic radii, and then tell me what happens across the period and down the group to electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy across the period. Across a period, what happens? Here you see the size goes on decreasing, smaller, smaller, smaller. So the nucleus is very close to the outermost shell. It's very easy to attract the electron, pull the electron and hold it. Whereas if you go down the group, size is very large. The nucleus is very far from the nucleus, outermost shell. So whether the electron will feel like coming in? No. So electron gain enthalpy decreases. So across the period, this way, across a period, you will write the point. Across a period, electron gain enthalpy increases. What will you write the reason? Because nuclear pull will be more, or will increase also you can write. I'm just writing in simpler words. Will be more or high you can write. Will be high. Same way down the group, how will you explain? Electron gain enthalpy decreases down the group as nucleus is far from the outermost shell. Outermost shell. This is about electron gain enthalpy. Easy, isn't it? That's why I have told you, if you understand atomic size, it's very easy to apply. The thing is, you must understand the concept. Okay. Next one, it's actually almost similar to electron gain enthalpy. The concept is electronegativity. Electronegativity. Now, electronegativity is a measure. It's actually it's not a measurable quantity as that of electron gain enthalpy. It's actually based on a scale. Okay, it's not measurable quantity. But using some scales, it can be explained. Electronegativity means it is a tendency. Tendency means the ability of an atom to pull the shared pair of electron towards itself. You know what is shared pair of electrons? If there is a bond. Bonding means here there are two electrons. Two electrons will be sharing the bonds. That means this electron will share and this electron. That means mutually they attract, and that is why there is a bond here. It's an imaginary line, we say. Actually, bond means there are two electrons. So we just imagine that there is force of attraction and we write it as a bond. So here, this is a shared pair of electron now. Pair of electron, two electrons. If suppose you have, say, one atom X here, one atom, say, Y you have. Now here X will be having the tendency to pull the shared pair of electrons towards itself. It will pull both the electron towards itself. Then that tendency, now if it pulls all the electron towards itself, what happens to it? It becomes negative or positive? It becomes negative. So X will become negative, Y will become positive, isn't it? tendency of an atom to pull the shared pair of electron towards itself is called electronegativity. I have told you that it's not a measurable quantity, but it can be measured using some scales like Pauling scale, Allred-Rochow scale. There are some scales called Pauling scale, Allred-Rochow scale, and one more is Mulliken-Jaffe scale. Jaffe scale. Don't worry about all this, because for your board examination, what will be asked, these for competitive exams, if you remember, it's better. For your board examination, you just remember the definition, how it varies across the period, down the group. Done. So what is electronegativity? How do you define electronegativity? It is the tendency of an atom to attract the shared pair of electrons towards itself. This is called electronegativity. It's the definition for electronegativity, the tendency or the ability, you can write. The ability of an atom to attract the shared pair of electron towards itself is called as electronegativity. Similar to that of electron gain enthalpy, isn't it? There also it is, gaining electron, but here the shared pair of electrons, it is pulling towards itself. The tendency we call as electronegativity, and the enthalpy change we call as electron gain enthalpy. Clear? So no doubt in electronegativity, and I have told you that some scales are used for the study of the variation of these, of how it varies across the period, down the group, all those. Now let us see. Most commonly used scale is Pauling scale. Pauling scale is the commonly used scale for the measuring of electronegativity, or the tendency, to measure the tendency. Now let us see how electronegativity varies across the period, down the group. Exactly same like that of electron gain enthalpy. Even the reasons are also same. But still, let me tell you. Across the period, the size is decreasing. The size goes on decreasing, means that if the nucleus is closer to the outermost shell, then it's easy for the pulling of electron. If the nucleus is far from the outermost shell, it's difficult for attracting electron. So if it has to attract electron easily, that means the nucleus must be close to the outermost shell. So across the period, what happens? Atomic size is decreasing. So nucleus is closer to the outermost shell. Therefore, electronegativity across the period increases. What will be the reason? Reason is because atomic size decreases. That will be one point, as atomic size decreases and nuclear pull increases. Down the group, electronegativity down the group decreases as atomic size increases and nuclear pull. What happens to nuclear pull? Nuclear pull decreases. Clear now? No confusion, isn't it? Exactly same that of electron gain enthalpy. Please make a note of this. And example for electronegativity, say for example, the tendency of pulling the electron towards itself, I told you, isn't it? Say for example, now you have H and F, hydrogen and fluorine. So using Pauling scale, how he actually gave it, he gave the values. So that values depends on that is along with which it is bonded. So Pauling gave the value for fluorine as 4, for oxygen as 3.5, for nitrogen as 3, like that. Some scales it is given. But it may not be the constant value. It depends on along with which it is bonded also. That also must be considered. So H and F means fluorine is highly electronegative. So this delta minus means that is partial negative charge, we say. Here hydrogen is positive. So which one has more tendency to pull the electrons? Fluorine will pull the electron towards itself, so it becomes negatively charged. Same way, if it is HCl, then which will pull the electron? Chlorine will pull the electron towards itself. H will become positive. So this tendency of pulling the electron towards itself is called electronegativity. So no confusion in that case. We will see the rest part now.